Ladies and gentlemen, James Lane here. This is episode 84 of the American Reveille Podcast, and we're going to talk all about H.R.1, the For the People Act, and we could rename that For Our People Act, and when I say our people, I mean the people that the elites represent, the elitists in our government. That is what this act is for. This is an all-out attack on poor people. This is an all-out attack on our voting system and the integrity of our elections for the foreseeable future if it passes. A Republican will never, ever win again. Ladies and gentlemen, we need to go over all of the horrible, horrible things stuffed into H.R.1. I told somebody I would do a deep dive, and then I saw it was 790-something pages, something like that. All right, guys, it didn't happen. Instead, I found this great article that really bullet points it all, 37 things, and that's what we're going to do here. We're going to talk about the 37 things that you really need to know about the H.R.1 For Our People Act. Ladies and gentlemen, stay tuned. Ladies and gentlemen, James Lane here, episode 84 of the American Reveille Podcast. How you guys doing? Ooh, I am loaded. I have so much crap on my plate, and I've organized myself as much as I can organize. I've maximized my time. I've taken as much stuff off my plate as I can, and it's at this point where you kind of feel that paralysis because you're just overburdened, you're overweight with tasks, with things to do, and you just feel like you're just bogged down, sinking in the sand, in the tar pits. And folks, really what I need to do and what I'm in the process of doing, and the only thing you can do in that situation is you make a list. You check it twice. You try to find out who's naughty or nice. No, seriously, though. You make a list and you start knocking crap off of it. That's all I can do, right? The stuff's still got to get done, right? It's got to get done. And if I don't do it, it's just going to pile up and bury me. And then if it buries me, the children, the family, the wife, everybody suffers. That's more than enough motivation for me. How about you, ladies and gentlemen? Are you working on something right now? Do you have a family that depends on you? Do you have children that depend on you? Do you have that drive, or is the weight crushing you? Let me know in the comments below. I'm curious. We could talk about it. We'll have a little back and forth. It'll be interesting. One thing that is going to crush us, if it gets through, it already passed the House. It's insane. It's ridiculous. It's absolute insanity. It's H.R.1, ladies and gentlemen, H.R.1. And I don't know why you wouldn't have heard about it by now. All right, you heard about H.R.5, the Equality Act, the one that allows grown men to shower with your teenage daughters in gym class if they identify as a little girl that day. You know, H.R.5, good stuff. Anyway, this H.R.1 basically takes away the right of the states to control how they vote, puts it under the jurisdiction of the ruling federal government, the monarchy that would be the government, and standardizes it in an absolutely socialist Venezuelan dystopian manner. It's absolute ridiculousness. It is. And we're going to talk about it. We're going to go through this article. We'll read about it. And you'll see, and you need to see. This is important stuff, folks. It's very important stuff. All right. People tend to look at headlines and then skip the meat and potatoes, right? Everybody wants dessert. Nobody wants to eat their vegetables. But how are we ever going to defeat the left if we don't know what's actually going on? So please do me a favor, pay attention. And if you're new here, follow along, all right? Subscribe wherever you're watching or listening. Subscribe. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, please give me a 5-star rating. Leave a review. Leave a comment everywhere and anywhere you see this, and share. All right, folks. So why don't we get into it? All right. I'm happy to be here. I'm really hoping you get something good out of this. And I just want to thank you guys for following along thus far and supporting me. It's been awesome. This thing has grown so much, and I know it's going to grow so much more. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. All right. So without further ado, Breitbart is providing for us 37 things to know about H.R.1 for the People Act. This is by Joel B. Polak. Came out the 4th of March, 2021. Let's read. House Democrats passed H.R.1, the so-called For the People Act, on Wednesday. The bill would radically change American democracy, nationalizing elections and making permanent changes to voting rules that would virtually ensure Democrats never lose another election, folks. The bill's 790 pages long. That's why we're not doing a deep dive. It would be an 8-hour episode, and I feel like I would develop scoliosis from that. A massive piece of legislation adopted with little examination or debate. Some provisions, like expanding access for voters with disabilities, improving election security, and ensuring that all voting machines in U.S. elections are also manufactured in the U.S., are uncontroversial. But others are potentially explosive. And that's what the Democrats do. They hide things. That's why they wanted this read out loud. That's why these things get thrown in at the last minute, and they're 800 damn pages long. Nobody has the time to read them because Democrats hide things within the pages. Remember, they always say, don't ever forget to read the small print, the fine print. And this is all the fine print stuffed in between the lines, ladies and gentlemen. Here are 37 key points as promised by the title of this episode, folks. Number 1. H.R.1 is going to do this. Federal control over congressional elections. The bill begins by declaring that Congress finds that it has broad authority to regulate the time, place, and manner of congressional elections under the Elections Clause of the Constitution. The Constitution actually gives primary authority to the states, but allows Congress to make or alter such regulations. The House Democrats interpret this provision as dramatically as possible to override the states. We learned all about how the states and their legislative bodies have the rights to dictate the time, place, manner, and means in which their elections will be held. The federal government is saying that we will dictate that for every state, every single state. Number 2, declaring that states and localities have eroded access to the right to vote. The bill declares that photo ID, burdensome voter registration procedures, purges of ineligible voters. That means looking into the voter rolls and cleaning them up of bad votes, bad registrations, bad and incorrect addresses that are attached to people that don't even live there. That's the problem, right? Like if you have mail-in voting, that's the issue we experienced. Everybody got a mail-in ballot, right? Everybody on the voter rolls where a bunch of the people were dead. A bunch of the people didn't live at places. A bunch of people were switched around. You saw Steven Crowder. He verified that dozens and dozens and dozens in Arizona, I believe, were incorrect on the voter rolls. This makes it so the voter rolls, purging the voter rolls, cleaning up the voter rolls, is illegal. It's wrong. You can't do it. All right. It also does restrictions on vote by mail. It rules. What's it called? It declares that the rules against felons voting and other measures that states and municipalities have taken to guarantee the integrity of the elections are in fact restrictions on the right to vote. So it's saying that by not allowing felons to vote, right? By having restrictions on vote by mail, right? By having voter registration procedures, having to show your ID, by purging and cleaning up the voter rolls, you're actually taking away people's right to vote. So when Nancy Pelosi stands up there and she goes, this is going to expand people's right to vote, that thing that Republicans are trying to take away, they're trying to hurt your right to vote. She's just using words because people aren't going to research any of the depth. They just hear words. They just trust. So many people in this country just blindly trust these crooked politicians and nobody checks. So she just says those things. And that's what it is in here. That's what it is in here. It's saying that all of these things, these good things, showing an ID, right? Showing an ID to vote, all of these good things, they're actually bad things, right? They play this psychotic flip-flop game. It suggests that all of these are forms of racial discrimination and systemic racism, riding high on that woke culture, on that critical race theory rainbow, ladies and gentlemen. No good at all. Number 3, restricting challenges to H.R.1 to the federal court system in D.C. The bill declares that only courts within jurisdiction to hear challenges to its constitutionality or to the validity of regulations promulgated under the law are courts within Washington, D.C., a notoriously Democrat-friendly jurisdiction that minimizes the chance that any challenges could be brought to more conservative courts or to judges appointed by the past Republican presidents. You've seen how crooked the courts have been across the country, ladies and gentlemen. And what did the mayor of D.C. do when BLM was burning down cities across the country? She had a mural painted in front of the White House, directly assaulting and attacking the president's character and making up lies about folks. This is all about rules for thee, but not for me. Plain and simple, folks. 4, automatic and online voter registration. So against your will, you can opt out. If you know about it, you can opt out. But against your will, you get automatically registered to vote. Automatically. So the ballots get sent to you. Right? You get counted for things. You might not even want this. You might not even know how to opt out, but you are automatically registered to vote. The bill requires every single state in the entire country to make sure all eligible citizens are registered to vote in elections for federal office unless individuals opt out. It also requires states to make voter registration available online. It allows voters who have no other signatures on file with the state to supply their signatures when requesting a ballot. The state may not request more than the last 4 digits of the applicant's social security number. So it even puts restrictions on security. It puts restrictions on the ability to vet who is registering to vote or who is trying to get a ballot in the first place. All right, not good. 5, protection for illegal aliens who are registered to vote. What? The bill protects non-citizens from prosecution if they are registered to vote automatically and never made an affirmative declaration that they were U.S. citizens. Agencies that register voters are not required to keep records of who declined to affirm their citizenship. Do you see that? The illegal aliens have more rights than you and me. Isn't there something wrong with that? If I say that, though, I'm called a racist. If I say that as a white man I feel oppressed, I'm called a racist. Isn't everybody entitled to the right to feel oppressed? Isn't everybody entitled to the right of freedom and liberty in this country, every citizen? So why are they selling out my liberty and giving it to them? What makes them better than you or me? All right, we can argue everybody's a human, everybody has a right or whatever, till we're blue in the face. But part of being an American citizen is the privilege of being an American citizen. So if you say we're privileged, yeah, I am privileged. And so are you. And so is everyone else in this country, regardless of whatever your equity nonsense tells you, wherever they start. The poorest person in this country is privileged compared to some of the wealthiest people in other countries. Ladies and gentlemen, the woke folks are some of the most parochial, close-minded, blinder-wearing folks ever to walk God's green earth, folks. Crazy stuff. The bill protects non-citizens from prosecution. They can't get in trouble. It doesn't matter. They can do what they want when they want. That is not fair. That is favoritism. That is racism. That is racism against Americans. And that's how that works, folks. Number 6, changing personal information at polling places. Voters are now allowed to change their address and other information at polling places other than on Election Day itself and are allowed to cast regular, not provisional ballots on that basis. 7, same-day voter registration. Each state shall permit any eligible individual on the day of a federal election and on any day when voting, including early voting. It's permitted for a federal election as well to register to vote in such election at the polling place and to cast a vote in such an election. The provision includes a clause that requires same-day voter registration to be implemented in time for the upcoming elections in 2022. You know, of course, when Democrats fear losing the House. I mean, it's only inevitable, right? It's only inevitable. I heard something Newt Gingrich said, former Speaker of the House. He's very smart, and I think he's absolutely right. All right. My part of it, he didn't say this part. My part that I'm saying is that I believe the Democrats expected to completely steal the election under the rug without us noticing. All right. We caught wind. We resisted. We made a big stink of things. And things didn't go smooth as they expected. They almost lost the House. So what's happening? They're trying to shove and jam everything through. This is what Newt Gingrich said. They're trying to jam everything through because historically, the Democrat loses the House 2 years in. That's just how it's been for a while. So Biden, they've given up. They're not expecting to win. They're expecting to lose everything in 2022. So before 2022, if they can shove everything up America's ass, all this Marxist nonsense, they can steal the election thereon, 2022 and forward, and get everything they want and completely destroy what was once our beautiful United States of America. I believe there's enough resistance in the Senate to not allow that. I hope that I'm right. I hope I'm right. What else can I say? It's frightening, but if we can just hold them off for 2 years, I believe we'll sweep the House and the Senate 100%. 100%. All right, number 8. Preventing states from purging ineligible voters from rolls. One section of the bill is called the Stop Automatically Voiding Eligible Voters Off Their Enlisted Rolls in States Act, whose acronym is the Save Voters Act. Don't you love how they use those words? It restricts the criteria that states may use to strike voters from the roll and requires that voters and the public be notified first. The bill also makes it more difficult for states to remove voters from the rolls through cross-check with other states unless they have extensive information corroborating the voter's identity. It also restricts third parties from challenging voters' eligibility unless they have personal knowledge of ineligibility and punishes challenges with up to 1 year in prison for each violation. The U.S. Postal Service is also required to remind people who fill out a hard copy change of address form to update their voter registration. So that makes it immensely more difficult to clean up the voter rolls. Wonderful. Oh, look at this. Number 9, registration for minors under 18. States must register citizens to vote voluntarily or automatically as long as they are over 16, even though they can't vote yet. Automatic registration will apply to students who register for courses at college. The bill provides funds for states to carry out a plan to increase the involvement of individuals under 18 In public election activities in the state, high schools are also required to provide voter registration information to students before graduation, so money to schools to promote kids to get involved in politics, and obviously they push for the Democrat side of things. And what happens in 2022 if this passes and another COVID mysteriously hits? Oh, I wonder how that would happen, right? 2022 comes, mysterious number 2 on the COVID comes, right? And what do they say? What do they say? Oh, we got to do mail-in ballots for everybody again. Mail-in ballots for everybody. And then everybody who's under 18, because they go on the voter rolls for people who are registered, they get sent a ballot even though they're not able to vote. Do those get counted? Do other people fill those out? You see where we're coming from here? We just want accountability. We just want somebody to look at a receipt and then look at a freaking stack of ballots and check that the numbers match. That's it. But we can't get that. We can't get that. They just want to make it dirtier for people. 10, prohibiting the publication of misleading information. Oh, look, censorship. This bill makes it a federal crime to communicate or cause to be communicated information that is knowingly false about an election and designed to discourage voting within 60 days of an election. The sentence up to 5 years in jail, folks. The bill also makes it a crime to claim a false political endorsement. Guys, you can't say that something is a way you believe it is, or you could go to jail for 5 years. Who decides what's false? Since we don't operate in the world of truth anymore, we live in the upside down land, the bizarro realm, where down is up is down, left is right, black is white, purple is pink, and there's a giant sucking freaking portal, a wormhole just sucking reality through it into the nether. I mean, that's what it feels like. At least that's what it feels like with the Democrats' intelligence, with their brain cells. They're just being sucked out of their noggin by some invisible force, because this is nonsense. You hear this. You're seeing this. You see what we're going through. It's not fake. This is insanity, absolute insanity. 11, reducing prison funds to states unless they register ex-convicts to vote. So we won't help you lock up your murderers unless you let free murderers vote. Not really productive. Not at all. Under what it calls the Democracy Restoration Act. The bill says that all felons can vote unless they're serving a felony sentence in a correctional institution or facility at the time of the election. Ex-convicts have to be notified of their eligibility to vote up to 6 months before their release. All federal funds for building or improving prisons can be withheld if states do not comply. That's nice, right? That's lovely. That's lovely. Let's not help keep killers locked behind bars unless you don't allow killers who serve their 20-year sentence to vote. That's lovely. Lovely. Oh, look, mandatory early voting, number 12. Each state shall allow individuals to vote in an election for federal office during an early voting period, which occurs prior to the date of election. In the same manner as voting is allowed on such date, early voting must begin no later than 15 days before the election, including weekends, and must allow for 10 hours of voting each day, including some hours before 9 a.m. and some after 5 p.m. Folks, didn't they do that during COVID just because of COVID? Now it's supposed to become a mandatory thing, a normal thing, a daily thing. This is wrong. This is wrong. They really didn't let this crisis go to waste, did they? 13, nationwide vote by mail without a photo ID. States are required to provide for absentee vote by mail in elections for federal office and may not require an individual to provide any form of identification as a condition of obtaining an absentee ballot. May not require you to show an ID. Okay? To show an ID. You don't have to. You don't have to show an ID. You don't have to verify a signature. Any John Hancock will do. Vote by mail is not absentee voting, ladies and gentlemen. Not always. You have to pay attention to the wording. You really do. 14, unlimited ballot harvesting. States shall permit a voter to designate any person to return a voted and sealed absentee ballot to the post office. I can designate anyone to do anything with my vote. I wonder if that's easy to fraud. I bet it is. I bet you could take advantage of that system real simple. A ballot drop-off location, tribally designated building, or election office, so long as the person designated to return the ballot does not receive any form of compensation based on the number of ballots and may not put any limit on how many voted and sealed absentee ballots any designated person can return. That means that if you don't pay Mike can drop off 1,000 ballots. Why is that okay? Why is that okay? Allowing 10 days for ballots to be accepted after Election Day, the bill requires states to accept any mailed ballots postmarked before or on Election Day. If they arrive within 10 days of the election, it allows the states to expand that deadline. So if it comes after, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter at all. Doesn't matter. You don't have to be responsible anymore. Don't have to be responsible. Just vote for the Democrats, folks. Vote for the big D. Get shafted by the big D, ladies and gentlemen. Vote for the Democrats. Paying for postage for mailed ballots. The bill provides that the state or the unit of local government responsible for the administration of the election involved shall prepay the return postage on any envelope provided for an application to register to vote, an application for an absentee ballot, or the return of the ballot itself. All election materials are to be treated as first-class mail, regardless of the postage paid. All right? Prohibiting state election officials from campaigning in federal elections. The bill prevents a chief state election administration official to take an active part in political management or in political campaign with respect to any election or federal office over which such official has supervisory authority. This provision appears aimed squarely at states like Georgia, where the involvement of secretaries of state in elections has been controversial in recent years. So they're already going in and screwing with that. Number 18, creating campus vote coordinators at colleges and universities. Now they're dabbling with the socialist schools. I wonder what they're going to do here. The bill requires colleges and universities to hire an official whose responsibility would be to inform students about elections and encourage voter registration. So an MTV Votes person for the school permanently. That's great. Those institutions that have demonstrated excellence in registering students to vote in elections for public office will be eligible to receive money, additional grants from the Department of Education as an incentive to boost registration efforts. So if you can form violent militias on the campus to round up good students and get them to register to vote for the Democrats, you too can get thine best education. Very, very shady indeed, ladies and gentlemen. Very shady indeed. Gutting photo ID requirements. The bill requires states to substitute photo ID requirements by allowing would-be voters, in person or by mail, to submit a sworn written statement signed by the individual under penalty of perjury, attesting to the individual's identity and attesting that the individual is eligible to vote in the election. Such voters are to be allowed to cast regular ballots, just like voters who present ID, not required to cast provisional ballots. So basically, if a state does find a way to allow, or not to allow, but to enforce photo ID on voting, right? Since they are allowed in a way, right? If they find a good way to do it, well, if that person just comes in with a letter that they write, a sworn written statement, I swear I'm the dude, signed the dude, that's good enough. You go and try to get a bank loan with that as your ID, and you let me know how that goes. In fact, you open a bank account. You try to do anything, and it won't work. But one of our most important rights as American citizens, the right to vote, is being sold out for this nonsense, this garbage. Sign a sworn affidavit. They're insane. They're killing our republic. Absolutely killing our republic, folks. This stuff's stressful. It gives me a stomach ache. All right. I felt crappy for a while. I want to do something here. I'm going to segue into our sponsor for a minute. All right. I've been drinking this awesome tea. It's called Life Change Tea. It's this gentle daily cleanse. It's made of this proprietary blend of these wonderful herbs. They've been used for thousands of years. It's great. It's really good. It's put together in the USA. All right. And it's made just wonderfully. I thought it was going to be bloated. I thought it was going to be painful. I thought it was going to be difficult. All right. To take and to use. Some cleanses, they just kill you. They kill you with gas and you're in the rest. Oh God. But this tea is gentle. All right. GetTheTea.com. You can get a pack of Life Change Tea there. GetTheTea.com. Promo code James. All right. Promo code James at GetTheTea.com. It'll get you free shipping and delivery. All right. This stuff is fantastic. All right. So it's not even hard to make. Really quick. Seriously. Just for 2 seconds. Just hear me out. All right. You boil the tea, you let it steep, you fill a big jug of it, you drink 1 to 2 8-ounce glasses a day. All right. Helps get rid of the bloat. It gives you more energy. You feel good. I started eating better anyway. And I've been getting back in the gym a little bit, just trying to trim down. I'm getting older. It's not easy. I started drinking the tea and it really just helped me. It helped me. I think it did anyway. So I'd love it if you would just give it a try, all right? So one more time, go to www.getthetea.com, www.getthetea.com. Get yourself some Life Change Tea. It's awesome stuff, really awesome stuff. Getthetea.com, promo code James, James, free shipping and delivery. All right, guys, free shipping and delivery. So anyway, let's get back to this. Making absentee voter boxes available for 45 days. This is number 20. In each county in the state, each state shall provide in-person, secured, and clearly labeled drop boxes at which individuals may, at any time during the period described in subsection B, drop off voted absentee ballots in an election for federal office. Subsection B is 45 days before an election. The boxes must be available to all voters on a non-discriminatory basis and during all hours of the day. All right, so they have to have absentee voter boxes all over for 45 days. More ways to cheat in the election. 21, mandatory curbside voting. Oh, it goes even further. That's nice. States may not prohibit any jurisdiction administering an election for federal office in the state from utilizing curbside voting. Lovely. Absolutely lovely. 22, restoring federal supervision of states under Voting Rights Act. The bill declares the 2018 midterm and 2020 general elections provide further evidence that systemic voter discrimination and intimidation continues to occur in communities of color across the country. The evidence isn't provided, of course. It goes on to say Congress should restore those provisions of the Voting Rights Act of 1965 that were struck down in 2014 by the Supreme Court. All right. There's no voter discrimination. It's all made up. They're gaslighting us. Again, it's all garbage. They don't provide any evidence. And then they just throw this in there. They screw the country and then say they're fixing it. They're helping us. Literally, they're saying, we raped you. Now thank us for raping you. Fantastic job, guys. Fantastic job, Dems. 23, encouraging statehood for D.C. and representation for territories. Here's where it gets fun, guys, because D.C. would get 2. It would get 2 representatives, all right? 2 senators. Territories, like Puerto Rico, different things like that. More senators, more Congress. They'd all be Democrats. We'd never have the Senate again. I mean, seriously. This is to debalance the system and put the ball in the socialist court forever. encouraging statehood for D.C. and representation for territories. The bill complains that D.C. is not yet a state, adding the United States is the only democratic country that denies both voting representation in the national legislature and local self-government to the residents of its nation's capital. The bill also appoints a commission to study the disenfranchisement of U.S. territories, pushing for congressional representation and presidential votes. Listen to me and let me make this clear. The entire point of the United States is that we aren't doing what all the other countries, democratic or not, are doing, because we are the leaders, the beacon of hope, the light of freedom in this country. We are America, the United States of America. We lead the way. And that statement there makes lefties cringe because they want to be part of a global community where everybody is equally drinking the same kava root and beating the same crappy hippie drum. But that is not the America that we on the right want. We want to lead the way. We want to lead the charge. We want to innovate. We want to dominate space. We want to be interplanetary. We want to do all these things, and we want the American flag to lead the charge. But the left doesn't want that. That's not the future that the left sees. The left believes that this country must be destroyed before it can be rebuilt as part of the global federation. Come on. It's all in the Great Reset. We did a podcast on that. We did a couple podcasts on that. 24, federal control of congressional district maps through independent commissions. Get ready for this one. Notwithstanding evidence that independent redistricting commissions are actually run by Democrats for their own partisan advantage, the bill makes it mandatory for states to redraw their congressional districts through such commissions, not through state legislatures, like it says in the Constitution. Meh. It's so ridiculous. I'm mad. It just made me, meh. That's what I want to, that's the noise. I have no other noise. It's that, or I smash my head into the bathroom mirror 17 times. Redistricting. Commissions are required to show racial, ethnic, economic, and gender diversity, as well as geographic diversity. So they're going to redo all of the senators and congressmen based upon their critical race theory nonsense and how independent Democrat commissions deem necessary to ensure the socialists win forever. Do you want your grandchildren born into bondage, your great-grandchildren born into bondage? They're trying to enslave the entire peasant class. I don't care if you're black, white, purple, gay, straight, trans, whatever you are. I don't care. We're all in this tax bracket down here, and we're the ones that they're screwing. Don't you see? People on the left that are fighting us on the right on the lower levels, we have a little more in common than you think, because they're playing you. They are playing you. Whether you're white, whether you're in the minority communities, if you're on the left, you're being played a fool, and you're being pitted against us when we're actually on the same side because we're all getting screwed by the man. That's what's happening. We're all getting screwed by the man. They want to buy you and buy your vote forever. And when you wake up in a few years and you go, man, I don't want to sit on the couch and collect this check. I want to be a musician. I want to be a rock star. I want to be a rapper. I want to be a golfer. I want to sing. I want to be in movies. I want to write. I want to start a company. I want to build my dream home. I want to do. The socialists are going to look at you and they're going to say, no, be happy with nothing. And you'll have asked for that. You'll have asked for that because you'll only get what the government gives you. There'll be no MTV Cribs for anyone ever again, ladies and gentlemen. So lefties, let me say this to you if you're listening to this. You should reevaluate your masters. They're the same people trying to screw you, holding a knife behind their back, shaking your hand with the other hand. Don't fall for it. Stop falling for it. Wake up. Wake up and smell the coffee. Same on the right, guys. Same on the right. We're all the little guys getting screwed by the big guys. There's a lot of good big guys out there, but there's a lot of bad actors. And these are bad actors. These are kings and queens dressed as Democrats. These are kings and queens dressed as free American citizens. These are devils in sheep's clothing. Devils in Democrat clothing. Ladies and gentlemen, we're not dealing with honorable people, and we need to start speaking up. I know I'm going off the rails a little on this one, on number 24 here, but think about that. They squeezed that in there. This is a 791-page bill. 791 pages. And they squeeze in there that independent commissions shall redistrict everything. Come on. 25. National Commission to Protect United States Democratic Institutions. The bill creates a commission to study elections and produce a report after 18 months with recommendations for improving elections. The commission will consist of 10 members, only 4 of whom would be selected by the minority party, allowing Democrats to dominate. All right, so no matter what happens on the commission, the recommendation to the Democrats will be a Democrat solution, and the Democrats only pick socialist solutions at this point. So no bueno. No bueno indeedy, ladies and gentlemen. 26, new reporting requirements for companies. The bill identifies LLCs, that's what we are, all right, American Reveille LLC, as a potential conduit for foreign donations to domestic super PACs and suggests Congress require LLCs to identify their owners. So I will become public, and all the BLM people that hate me and send me death threats will know where and who and what and how. Lovely. Fantastic. Hooray. 27. Candidates required to report foreign contacts not later than 1 week after a reportable foreign contact. Each political committee shall notify the Federal Bureau of Investigation, you know, that independent body that pretends like it's a part of the government that will actually attack our own government if it tries to stand up to it, you know, the FBI commission of the reportable foreign contact and provide a summary of the circumstances with respect to such reportable foreign contact. The FBI would then notify the House and Senate intelligence of these foreign contacts. The provision does not apply to foreigners who are part of an effort to observe U.S. elections as a part of international monitoring. So it only applies to Americans. The scrutiny is on us in our own country, while foreigners are exempt to ever divulge their foreign contacts. Absolute horse patootie. Horse patootie. I wanted to say the S word, but I said patootie instead. All right. Deal with it. 28, new disclosure for corporations. The bill codifies the Disclose Act, long a pet project of Senator, Chuck Schumer, who aimed to restrict corporate participation in elections. The section requires corporations to certify that their political activities are free from foreign interference, including showing that those involved in political contributions are U.S. citizens or permanent residents. Notably, these restrictions on corporations are far more strict than the rules pertaining to citizenship in voter registration. Corporations spending more than $10,000 in an election cycle must file detailed disclosures, including for independent expenditures that are not coordinated with campaigns. 29, oversight of online political advertising, citing the supposed influence to political advertising, to Russian trolls on the 2016 election. Lovely. Great. Here we go. The bill expands disclaimers for online political advertising under a provision called the Stand by Every Ad Act. Online platforms are also required to maintain detailed records of attempts to purchase political advertising space on the platform. So all the times that I tried to purchase political ads on Facebook and they turned me down because they didn't want to hear the truth and they were censoring me, they have to keep a record of that. They have to keep a record of that. I wonder what they'll do with those records. Foreigners are prohibited from political ads. The bill requires the Federal Elections Commission to conduct an independent study and report on media literacy with respect to online political content consumption to determine whether Americans can be fooled by by political advertising. Of course they can. The bill also prohibits the use of deep fakes, digital impersonations in campaigns, without disclosures to the public that the relevant media have been manipulated. Isn't that nice? How after they use all of these tricks, they now want to make those tricks illegal? That's great. Deportation for aliens who violate election laws, using the term alien, which Democrats have tried to outlaw in other contexts. The bill defines foreigners who have tried to interfere in American elections as deportable. 31, see, they're putting good things and they're mixing in absolute terrifying things. All right. So they're hoping nobody sees it. 31, removing restrictions on IRS targeting. The bill appears to reverse provisions that restrained the IRS from targeting tax-exempt organizations and their donors, which were applied after the IRS scandal of 2013. So they're going to roll back that. All right. They're going to take care of the IRS there. Grease the palms. 32, attacking Citizens United and free speech for corporations. The bill declares that the Supreme Court's decision in Citizens United is to be erroneous, adding the Supreme Court's misinterpretation of the Constitution to empower moneyed interests at the expense of the American people in elections has seriously eroded over 100 years of congressional action to promote fairness and protect elections from toxic influence of money. Really? I wonder who got the most money, the most dark, dirty money during the last election, Joe Biden. It recommends the Constitution should be amended so that the Congress and the states may regulate and set limits on the raising and spending of money. Yeah, you won't need money from corporations, Democrats, when the money is just coming straight from China, right? That's the truth. Don't BS. Don't beat around the bush. Get straight to the point. Why would you need money from corporations? You're going to get all the money you need when you permanently open the pipeline, the cash pipeline to China. Selling your souls to the devil, ladies and gentlemen, but the devil always comes for his due. Unfortunately for them, and in 2022, you're going to see a big change. 33 gift cards and reimbursements for political donations under a pilot program called My Voice. The bill creates a federally funded voucher program that gives individuals $25 to donate to the candidates of their choice. It also provides for federal matching funds of 600% of the amount candidates for federal office receive in small dollar donations. So it basically promotes Democrats to send in a ton. You get 1 million Democrats to send in $100, and then they'll match it a ton to their social justice thing. This is all just pandering to the extreme left, to the social justice warriors. All right. You want to save the whales? Well, donate to our candidate. 34, allowing politicians to use campaign funds for personal use. Under a provision called the Help America Run Act, the bill legalizes what had previously been considered a violation of federal law and allows candidates for federal office to use campaign donations for personal expenses such as child care, as long as they don't already hold public office. So if all you have to do, if you just want to have some fun, just keep running for office and getting millions in donations, and then you can go to Disneyland like every day. Every day you're like butterfly in the sky, just going down Space Mountain or whatever that water log ride is. I don't know how that works. I haven't been to Disneyland in decades. Listen, it's not good stuff. It's not good stuff. All right. Allowing politicians, this is number 34, to use campaign funds for personal use. Oh, man. Number 35, all right? Changing the composition of the FEC to become partisan. The bill reduces the membership of the FEC, the Federal Elections Commission, from 6 to 5 members. Only 2 members can be associated with a particular political party, meaning that the 5th member is theoretically independent. Though nominated by a president associated with a party, several former FEC members have written to Congress warning about this change and other related provisions, explaining how it makes it partisan. All right. This is all just a Democrat wish list. This is all about making sure the Democrats rule the country with an iron fist, literally like kings and queens. They're taking away your most fundamental right as a citizen, your right to vote. They are the ones infringing upon this. They are the ones taking it away and making it more restrictive. They are the ones making it more difficult for minority communities. They just are telling people they aren't, and people apparently are gullible enough to believe them. Oh, okay. Yes, sir. We believe you. 100%. Nancy Pelosi said it's good. It's got to be good, right? Chuck Schumer said to believe. Would I lie to you? Yeah, you're right, Chuck. You wouldn't lie to me. Yeah, no, you guys understand. What was I thinking? Oh, God. So gullible. So gullible. 36, changing conflict of interest rules to bar Donald Trump from running. Though Trump is not mentioned, the bill tightens rules around conflicts of interest for the president and vice president that would make it hard for Trump to run again. It requires the president or vice president to divest all financial interests, to give out, to hand over all of his financial interests that could pose a conflict of interest for them, their families, or anyone with whom they're negotiating or who is seeking employment in their administration. You see that? Him and his friends, it would be very difficult. People that support Trump, that are associated with Trump, to work with Trump. It just makes it hard. 37. All right, this is the last one here. Thank you, by the way, Joel Polak, the senior editor for Breitbart, for putting this list together. I appreciate that. It saved me forever, because it would have not been an hour-long podcast. It would have been a 9-year-long podcast if this was me going through 791 pages. I almost did it. I sat there for like 10 minutes earlier today, like looking through the stack, like, should I? And then I just said, no, everyone will kill me. By the time I finish it, Andrew Cuomo will have already resigned. 37. Changing FEC rules to require Trump or other presidential candidates to provide their tax returns. They just can't let it go. They just can't let it go. They just can't get off it. Not later than the date that is 15 days after the date on which an individual becomes a covered candidate, the individual shall submit to the Federal Election Commission a copy of the individual, their income tax returns for the 10 most recent taxable years for which a return has been filed with the IRS. Is that state or federal? What did they say? It's just, I think it's federal, because like California hates me. They think I owe them a bunch of money. I don't know. I've paid it. And then they gave me a tax return. Let's just say this. If they pass this, I'm not running for office anytime soon. And I don't think a lot of other people are running for office anytime soon. There was some other things I saw in there. For example, there was something in there that said that presidents, it's not listed on this. Listen, I skimmed through 791 pages of this garbage. All right. There was something else on there that said that presidents, they have to pay. It can't be from the taxpayers. It can't be anything. They have to pay for the flights on Air Force One, for their meals, for their lodging. Doesn't that restrict poor people, right? Doesn't that make it harder for people that aren't from Harvard and don't have $1 bazillion to become the president? Isn't this country supposed to be for the people and by the people? This is called the For the People bill. But like I said in the beginning, it's the For Our People bill. It's the For Our People bill. And they're not talking about Democrats. They're not talking about Republicans. They're talking about elites. It's building a wall around the rich, wealthy elites and political power figures and power mongers in this country. Plain and simple, and solidifying the Democrat rule into a socialist hellhole and eventually into a gulag-ridden Soviet-like state. That's what they're doing to our country. That's what they want. They want the destruction of the USA. They want to burn it all down. They want to break the bridges. They want to drain the water from our wells, take our foods from our tables, take the clothes off our back, leave us naked and in shame in the streets as they kick us in the ribs, spit down on us, and yell, "Shame! Shame! How dare you believe in science? How dare you believe in two genders? How dare you believe in God? How dare you believe in your children getting a fair education? How dare you not sell everything you own, give it all away, and apologize to a minority community so you and them, they can focus. You can all focus on fighting each other while we get richer off of it." All right? We have common enemies, the left and us. The people that are on our level on the left, they're just brainwashed. But if they weren't brainwashed, if they actually snapped out of it, they would see that this is just elites, globalist elites solidifying their reign of power. H.R.1 is a big deal, folks. It shouldn't be ignored. You need to be paying attention to this stuff. You need to be learning this stuff. You can go and find this. You can look it up. You can read through the 791-page document, James Lane at AmericanReveille.com. If you really want it, I'll send you the link or let you know where to go find it so you can go read through it. There's so much more. There's so much more. But this just right here took an hour. All right. This just right here took an hour. And this right here is enough. This is psychotic. It's absolutely psychotic. So please keep waking up, keep paying attention, keep educating yourself, keep using these tools. All right. You're going to need these tools to arm yourself against the horde of the woke left, ladies and gentlemen. Folks, thank you so much. This has been episode 84 of the American Reveille Podcast. We've gone over H.R.1, these 37 important facts that came out of H.R.1, the things that they're not telling you, the things that they want to just jam through and get to President Sleepy Joe Biden, the guy that doesn't even know where he is, get to his desk so he could sign this and then bomb another country. Listen, guys, it's going to be rough for a bit, but we'll get through the storm. All right. In the meantime, we got to stick together. So speaking of stick together, do me a favor. Wherever you're listening to this, follow along and share. Leave a comment, do all that good stuff. But folks, below in the description section, you'll find all the social media links. You'll find everything else. But look, I'll show you it right here. You can go to Gab, right? www.gab.com/American_Reveille. Gab.com/American_Reveille. Follow me on Gab, guys. All right. It's an alternate to Parler. And if Parler goes down again, we need all the alternates we can get. All right. And I'm back on Parler as well. Parler's back up. www.parler.com/profile/The James Lane, or just go on Parler and search The James Lane, THE James Lane. That's the only one that's different. Everything else is America_Reveille. All right. American_Reveille, REVEILLE. Follow me on Gab. Follow me on Parler. Go to Odyssey. Follow me on Odyssey, ODYSEE.com, ladies and gentlemen. Odyssey. It's going to replace YouTube one day. I'm sure of it. I got 91 followers there. Come on. We can do better than that. I got thousands in other places. Follow me on Odyssey, guys. The link is down below in the description section. All right. It's in the description section. I need you to interact. I need you to leave comments. I need you to share. More patriots need to see this. We have to get the word out. People need to know about H.R.1. They need to know about the things we're talking about. They need to be able to choose whether or not to have this conversation with us here at the American Reveille. And I need you to be our conduit. I need you to spread the word, ladies and gentlemen. Big news coming soon on that, by the way. Head over to www.AmericanReveille.com. All right. This is the old site. Quick peek. This is what the new site will look like, but we're almost there. We're not done yet, though. Old site right here, www.AmericanReveille.com. Still just as good. We got all our articles on there. You can find our podcasts, our videos, everything else. You can sign up for the newsletter. I highly, highly recommend it. You'll get a heads up on everything you've missed, and also on any contests, any sweepstakes, any giveaways that we're doing. You'll get notice firsthand, so you don't want to be left out of that. And as always, if you can, we're not bringing in a lot of money right now. We're trying to survive, trying to build this company. Go to the Support Us tab at www.AmericanReveille.com. You can donate Bitcoin, Dogecoin, Monero. If you have a different type of cryptocurrency you'd like to give, let me know. I can provide a QR code or just a code in general for you to the wallet, or just click the Support Us tab. It'll take you to PayPal. You can give me $5, $10, $100, $2, anything you want, but it will all go into the American Reveille. It'll all go into sustaining this podcast and building this company. Folks, I love you all. I appreciate all of the support. I know it's been hard for all of us with the censorship and with everything else, and it's been like swimming through mud and walking through quicksand and drowning in a tar pit, but I'm just telling you, hold on, hold the line, keep pushing forward, keep slogging through the mud, ladies and gentlemen, keep climbing, because when we get to the other side, this will all have seemed easy, ladies and gentlemen. Things will be good, and we will be back riding the wave to glory, ladies and gentlemen. This has been episode 84 of the American Reveille Podcast. I'm James Lane. I appreciate you guys so much, and I will see you in the next episode. Bye. Let me ask you a serious question. How do you feel right now? Do you feel good? Do you have energy? Are you tired? I was tired for weeks and weeks and weeks, months and months and months. I can't remember the last time I actually felt like I had get up and go. This whole COVID lockdown thing really took it out of me. I gained a bunch of weight. I ate a bunch of crappy food. I felt like garbage. And then I came across, all right, folks, and listen very closely. I came across Life Change Tea. That's right, Life Change Tea, ladies and gentlemen. It contains a proprietary blend of herbs that have been used for thousands of years to cleanse the body of toxins, folks. And when I say cleanse, this is going to do just that. It's going to cleanse your system out. It's going to cleanse your gut out. But there's a very big difference with Life Change Tea compared to other teas out there that are made for stuff like this. This tea's gentle. Listen, I tried it. I've been drinking it. I'm drinking it right now, all right? It's not hard to make. You let it steep. You put it in this big gallon jug here. You let it sit in the fridge. You drink an 8-ounce glass to 2 8-ounce glasses a day. It's not hard to use, but it's gentle. I've tried other teas, other cleanses, right? Other 7-day things, 10-day things. This is an everyday thing, right? I've tried these different products, and it's keeled me over. Horrible gas, horrible pain. Man. Just go into the bathroom, liquid death. That is not what you get with Life Change Tea. You get reliability. You get something gentle. You feel great just after a week. Just give it a week. Try the tea for a week, right? Drink it down, clean yourself out. The bloated stomach will go away. The energy will slowly come back. Couple that with a healthy lifestyle, and folks, the sky is the limit. All right, guys, do me a favor. Head to getthetea.com. Getthetea.com. Get yourself some Life Change Tea, folks. Use the promo code JAMES. JAMES. It's my first name, James Lane, right, guys? Promo code JAMES. Free delivery, ladies and gentlemen. Free delivery. Change your life now. Get your hands on some Life Change Tea.